What's going on, Assassins? It's Darkstrut of the YouTube Assassin, and today we're talking about a topic that a lot of people have on their minds. Could it be that an older Assassin's Creed character will be coming to Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Well, I've got your details. Before we even get started on that, I just want to let you know, spoilers ahead, just in case. This information, it may or may not come to pass as I tell you it. It may not come to pass at all. It may come to pass in a different way, but I'm just letting you know. So again, spoiler alert, and if you're okay with that, then we're going to get into this. So, the rumor is that our protagonist from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Cassandra, the Eagle Bearer, will be in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Most likely not in the upcoming DLC, but possibly a third DLC or some other event that's going to be coming down the road. Now, Access the Animus did a fantastic video, so big shout out to them. I'm going to put a link in the description below so that you can see their video in which they go into more detail. Now, they got their information from YouTuber Jonathan, who actually is a really amazing dude. He's actually hacked a bunch of files in order to find what code is in there and what we could be seeing coming up. Now, he is pretty on point, not gonna lie. When we were looking at the Odin runes, when we had all that information about Odin's Eye, it was actually for the mastery challenges, but that's something that fellow YouTuber Slap had given us that he had gotten from Jonathan. So even if it doesn't come out exactly as you see, it's still going to come out some way, some form, and it's going to be good. So here are the details. The way that this is supposed to supposedly start is we're going to have a talk with Valka in which she's going to tell us about an area where they're having all kinds of nightmares, and these nightmares are being caused by a specific person, and it's going to be affecting your settlement very, very soon. And she says that you're not going to like it, but Ranvi herself is involved. Now, of course, Eivor doesn't believe that, but we all know that Ranvi, when this game first came out, a lot of us really thought that she looked a lot like Cassandra. Some people even thought, hey, maybe she is like a relative of Cassandra, a descendant, or quite possibly that, you know, like she's Cassandra in disguise. There were all kinds of theories going on. None of them were actually true. Ranvi has always just been Ranvi. She hasn't been anything other than that. She's been this Viking character that's grown up in the village over in Norway and then come over to England with the rest of the gang. Now, in all honesty, there is no denying her looks and her stature look an awful lot like Cassandra. So now that brings us to what's going on when we get there. Obviously, Eivor doesn't think that that's what's going on. There's a couple of things that make no sense, but kind of do at the same time, like how is Ranvi responsible for going to this other place constantly and causing problems over there if she's always here? You know, so maybe they'll do something where, you know, she took a vacation or she's visiting somewhere out there. Like I said, these things usually, it all depends on what it is, how close they actually get the stories right. They may change it around and whatnot. That's just what these game developers do. So, regardless, Eivor's going to go and investigate, and she's going to find, obviously, Cassandra, the Eagle Bearer. Now, this brings up a couple of different things that I want to talk about. Obviously, number one, Cassandra is obviously the canon character from the game. And I mean, that was known. Canon means that in any other media that they create, it will always be Cassandra who is the Eagle Bearer. So if they made Odyssey a movie, if they made Odyssey a novelization, comic book, it would always be Cassandra as the Eagle Bearer. Now, on top of that, we got to figure out how often is that going to happen with Cassandra being seen in future Assassin's Creed games. Many of us were wondering about that when this game had come out. Obviously, Origins came out before Odyssey, so Cassandra couldn't be anywhere near Bayek and whatnot. And in all honesty, even if they could do that kind of foreshadowing thing, I don't think that it would work because it would be too convenient that Cassandra is always involved with the assassins, having never actually been an assassin. Remember, Odyssey was a good game, it just wasn't a good Assassin's Creed game. She wasn't confirmed as an assassin, we never had the hidden blade, anything like that, which were a couple of problems that people had with this game. But other than that, it was a fantastic game. Now, when we meet up, they're going to have some kind of confrontation amongst each other. They may even get into like a actual fight. You may actually battle them, which is going to be really wild because if you think about it, Cassandra is Isu in part. Her father was an actual Isu, or, not a muddied bloodline Isu. Like, she was the real deal. That's why she's pretty much a god in this game. Now, that doesn't discredit Ivor either. Ivor is the reincarnation of Odin. So, in Eivor's own way, she is also a god, which is pretty wild. If you think about it, it would be quite the battle, number one. Number two, I would think that they would have to meet because of something with the Order of the Ancients. Even though Eivor defeated everyone in the Order of the Ancients, maybe there were some that were still around, and I could see Cassandra chasing after the remains of the Order of the Ancients, especially where there's supposed to be pieces of Eden involved in this one. In this confrontation, there's supposed to be all kinds of things like that going on. So it's going to get deep into the lore, the artifacts, things like that. Whereas it didn't for this game, pretty much. Odyssey did have a lot of artifacts. It did have a lot of like lore, but it didn't really explain the lore to you. So like, we fought the Minotaur, we fought those Cyclops, we fought the Sphinx, and in all that time, we were given pieces of Eden, but we never got an explanation of why these creatures were what they were. How did these people, because when you're done, it's bodies of normal-looking people that are just burnt and worn out. How did they acquire this power just by touching these pieces of Eden? And why didn't it affect Cassandra at all? So there's a lot of questions there as to like what's going on there. I really hope that in this, either if it's a DLC or an event or something like that, I really do hope that they take the time to explain things like that. I really hope that it's not like a rushed thing and that we really do have a lot of interaction with Cassandra. It's going to be like seeing an old friend again, and you really want to catch up. I think that would be absolutely amazing. But, again, going forward, as much as I would love to see Cassandra pop up in a bunch of places, I don't want to see her pop up in every single Assassin's Creed game going forward. I don't think that that's necessary. I think that it could be necessary. It would be awesome to see her pop up in certain spots, but it would be too convenient and weird that even though she's not an assassin, she's always popping up around them. Unless it's something to do with a similar goal that they have, like acquiring a piece of Eden and they're on the same side, or it's something like she's hunting the Order of the Ancients. I could see that, but we have problems with story, and you end up retconning stuff where now you got to explain how the assassins knew about her, or ignored her existence, ignored her godhood, ignored her immortality. We've run into like some muddy waters there. So that, again, I could see her popping up occasionally. I could see her popping up with purpose. I don't want to see her in every single game because it would just be too weird. It would be way too weird and way too much to explain. It would be completely, absolutely out of control. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Do you want to see Cassandra come back? Would that be an awesome thing to see her pop up every once in a while in AC games in the future? possibly helping the assassins out, but somehow them not really knowing about her immortality. What do you think of that? What do you think of the story so far about how they're going to meet with Cassandra? And what do you think of the fact that she's the canon eagle bearer? Here's another question. Would you want a game where Cassandra had her own kind of little spin offs? Possibly not an Assassin's Creed game because it obviously wouldn't be an Assassin's Creed game, but maybe further adventures of hers. Not in a Chronicle style game, not in a 2D style game, but a normal kind of Assassin's Creed style game. And it's just all about her and her adventures, what she's been doing for over 2,000 years. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Plus, I'd love to hear any other thoughts that you have on this game, the series, where it's going, and what else you would like to see as far as past, present, and future Assassins going on. Other than that, I really do hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps this channel out an awful lot. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, take care, be good, stay safe, take care of each other. I'll see you guys all in the next one. And you know we're going to end this on a ya yeet.
Ya yeet!